Hey, Shalom Meshala. Want to start off souls by giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kodash. That belongs to the apostles, GMS, and honestly brothers doing the work of the Most High in truth and in sincerity. Right, this one is titled "But We Carry On." And I don't know where the spirit's gonna lead this, but it comes from the fact that in this world, we go through things, we lose things, we gain things, we lose things, right? We go through this and we go through that. But the thing is, we just got to carry on, right? No matter what it is that the Lord sends our way, we just got to carry on. Because at the end of the day, these are the things that Satan send our way, man, to try and knock us off the path, to make us, that's the point. Try and knock us off the path, man. Um, this is First Peter's 5:8. It says, "Be sober, be vigilant." Right, so have your wits about you, okay? Because your adversary, your enemy, the devil, I believe that's enemy, right? Opponent, okay? The devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour, right? He every a lot of the things we go through, well, most things we go through in this thing of ours are tests, okay? Satan's trying to find a way, trying to find a weak point. That's why certain times we don't receive some of the things that we may want. Why? Because the Lord, I saw something. It's someone was basically saying either for protection or redirection. It was one of them Christians, but that is an on point statement. Okay, certain times you don't get something for your own protection or for redirection. Okay, so uh you might want a particular job or whatever, or want to move into a particular place, okay, and it doesn't work out. What and why are these things? Because at the end of the day, the Lord is the one in control of all of these things. Okay, his ways are above our ways. We don't know why the Lord wants us to do something or end up in a particular place, but if we hope we're of the elect, and if we are of the elect, then whatever it is the best thing for us. Okay, but despite the fact that we lose things, right, despite the fact that we go through things, we got to carry on. This is Sirach 2:1. This is, "My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation." Okay, so when we come into this thing, we have to know that we're gonna go through things. That's part and parcel of the job. This is Luke 14:28. It says, "For which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it?" So before coming into this and dedicating and making an oath to the Most High that you're gonna continue on until the end, really, is before you do that, you really got to actually count the cost. And the cost is you're gonna lose stuff. You're gonna go through things. You might have a woman, your woman might leave you. Right? You might have a good job, boss might see you, and then now you don't have a good job, right? But what does the scripture say? Where is it? It's in see if I remember where it is. It's First Corinthians 4:16. Was it Second Corinthians? Might be Second Corinthians. Yeah, Second Corinthians 4:17. "For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory." Right now, ultimately, nothing can be compared to what is offered to us in the kingdom, right? And that's why ultimately, we've got to just carry on no matter what is sent our way, because at the end of the day, it is a light affliction. Because let's not forget that we are going to live forever, right, in a kingdom that is described as having pleasures forevermore, right? So anything that we go through on this side, it's nothing. It's light work. Okay, and it's just part of our purification process as the scriptures is going into, right? It says, verse 2 says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in time of trouble. So constantly endure. And that's a interesting use of the English language there. Constantly, what is that implying? That implies that it's not just going to be one, or one here, one there, right? It's going to be constant, right? If you've got constant rain, right, you've got constant rain, and you've got rain, you've got a scattered shower. Scattered showers is it rains for a bit and it stops, rains for a bit and it stops. But constant rain means it's raining all the time, right? So we're constantly having to endure all of the temptations that are being sent our ways, right? And make not haste in the time of trouble. What's that saying? You get them people when they go and get tough, they just run away. They crumble and fall. Like, nah, fuck this, man. I'm gonna go back to comfortability. That is not the spirit we're supposed to have. We're supposed to be solid and not make haste in times of trouble, because they're gonna be many, right? And right now, really, we're not in the time of trouble. We're at the beginning of the time of Jacob's trouble, but things are only gonna get harder from here, right? Which is why it would be good to, get closer to the Most High, right? Fast, pray, right? So that we can, get closer to the Most High and, really ask Him to give us the faith to endure what is about to come, because these days are evil, right? Scriptures talk about redeeming the time, for the days are evil. As I believe it's Ephesians, okay? It says, cleave unto Him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Okay, so we might be being brought to a lower state, but the end thereof is a great estate. It says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. So, always, I can't forget how the scripture's worded, but we must needs always to give praise to the Most High, whether it is that we've been given something, or whether it is that something has been taken away from us. No matter what it is we have to give praise to the Most High. What did Job say? Shall we receive good from the Most High, not evil? Roughly paraphrasing. Okay? The Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. The Lord, killeth and maketh alive. Lord bringeth down to the grave. Lord buildeth up. And in all them situations, we've got to give praise to the Most High. Okay? What does the scripture say? Romans 3:23. All have sinned and come short of the glory of the Most High. You get certain people in the world say, I don't deserve this, man. I don't deserve this. No, 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 no. You deserve everything you get. We deserve everything we get, because we've all sinned and come short of the glory. Right? What are the wages of sin? Death. This is verse 5. It says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. And this is ultimately it, because the scriptures say this in Hebrews. This is Hebrews 12. It's a bit. Hebrews 12:5 says, and ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children, my son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom the Lord loveth he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. If ye endure chastening, the Most High dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons. Okay? So, for instance, you look at all of these people out there in the world, right, just doing wickedness. Yeah, if you know people in the world, someone who's a chronic adulterer. Yet it seems like everything is going good for them. Why? Because they are a bastard, and the Most High doesn't care for them. Okay, we might, in this thing of ours, we might do something small, right? Nowhere near the level of adultery, right? And then we get fucked up. The Lord, will jack us up, man, right? Because also, what does Scripture say? You break one law, you break them all, right? The wages of sin is death, right? So when we do things because the Lord loves us, we get chastened for it. And ultimately, once again, we've all sinned and come short. And this is a purification process, right? For instance, you look at all of these lockdowns because we, we ain't ever really, we don't really have it like that in the world. For us, it didn't really affect us. We weren't jet setting, going on 4 or 5 holidays a year, constantly always out at the restaurant, whatever, what have you. So for us, it hasn't really affected us, right? But that's because we have been, sort of, well, for one, we've left this world, right? And the Lord has been preparing us for all of these things. All of these times we're going through chastisement, going through loss, right? It means that in these last days when we may be going through more chastisement and more loss, that it's nothing new. Okay? So I'll carry on, right? This is verse 6 is believe in him and he will help thee. Scriptures talk about faith. Without faith, it is impossible to please him, right? Hebrews 11 and 6. Okay, and it is a gift. Ephesians 2 and 8, right? But so basically believe, which, for instance, in the Romanian, faith is like credința, right? Cred, meaning belief, right? Have faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right? And he will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy and go not aside lest you fall. So basically continue in the faith. Ye that fear the Lord, believe in him, and your reward shall not fail. So this is a promise. Okay, have faith and I'll protect you is basically what the scripture is saying here. Right? Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good and for everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old and see. Did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Whom did he ever despise that called upon him? Okay, so the Lord always protected this man. And that's it. The Lord always protected his men. Now people are like, oh, but so and so died, this, that. But we really have to understand why those deaths were there, right? Certain people died for the glorying and for the magnification of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, this is Wisdom 3 and 1. So, but the souls of the righteous are in the hand of the Most High, right? And there shall no torment touch them. In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die. So if you're trying to use that as an excuse, oh, but such and such person died. No, you gotta understand that they died in righteousness. They died a righteous death, right? This is Psalms 116 and 15. Precious in the sight of Yahweh is the death of his saints. So it is precious. This is John 15:13. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friend. And our friend did that in Yahushai. Right? He says it there in verse 14. Ye are my friends. So our friend Yahushai, he did that for us. Right? So what? So that we can be joined to Yahweh, should be adopted to Yahweh again. Right? You read that in Hebrews, the 8th chapter, speaking about the second covenant through him. He's the mediator, right? So Yahushua has already gone through death for us. Okay, so that's an example of someone dying, for the magnification, for righteousness' sake. Right? In fact, I'll grab one more before I finish that precept. It says First Thessalonians 4:16. It says, "For the Lord, Yahushai himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, and with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of the Most High, and the dead in Yahushua shall rise first." So those that have died in this faith and doing the work, they're gonna rise first. Okay, gonna see them up in the chariots, man. Rise first with come with Yahushua. It's an honorable thing to die in righteousness. Now there are those that die in wickedness. Why? Because they weren't doing the work. They weren't doing what was, regarded of them. It says, then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. And that's talking about the chariots, or the so-called white man calls UFOs. Okay, right? That's what's gonna happen. Yahushua is coming back in a massive chariot. You read that in Second Ezra, the 13th chapter. Okay, so we're finishing off Wisdom, the 3rd chapter, 2nd verses. In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, and the departure is taken for misery, right? And they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. For though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. And having been a little chastised, now we read that in 2 Corinthians 4, was it 17 or 16? Right, it says they shall be greatly rewarded, for the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself. Right, once again, you read that, what was Revelation 2:10, be thou faithful unto death, right? Because that for that particular individual, that was their test. Okay, did they love Yahweh Shem Yahshua more than they loved their own life? And that is a question that we have to ask ourselves. Do we love Yahweh Shem Yahshua more than we love our own lives? Scripture says, he that shall seek to save his life shall lose it. Okay, so it says, and having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded, for the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself. As gold in the furnace hath he tried them and received them as a burnt offering, right? And in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. Okay, this is Matthew 19:27. It says, then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and follow thee. What shall we have therefore? And Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which shall follow me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And every one that hath forsaken houses, right, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. Okay, so this thing of ours is a sacrifice, man. We're gonna lose stuff. We might gain stuff along the way, but we're gonna lose stuff, man. And that's why Scripture once again speak about counting the cost, right? Because the life you led before you knew this truth is a different life you lead when you're in this truth. Right? When you've been in this truth for 'cause obviously you got the transition period when you're still, you're still learning, right? But then when you're like, yo, this is the truth, you're growing, and then you get to a point where your life is just completely different, right? Your woman might, have been like, yo, we used to go on weekend getaways, because even that is a sacrifice. These women want you to take them away on the weekend, but it's like, no, I got camp. We got to teach, right? You might have a job, and it's like, oh, look, man, we're gonna relocate you to this other place, but you're like, look, I ain't gonna be able to teach anymore, right? You might have, family members that just ain't down with the truth, so you just gonna be like, look, you do you, I'll do me. Okay, but losing all of that in this life, we shall receive 100-fold in the next life, which is why, despite everything, we carry on. So as always, Lord's Lord, I was edifying. Till the next time, Shalom.